Girl, come on, make up your mind. The night of passion became a nightmare. When the flood arrived, I realized what a fool I've been. You don't even know me, so how could you love me? Let alone care for this someone a stranger. Forget about the life that I dreamed of. Turn over, turn over, turn over. Waiting, anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind. Repercussions and consequences. Should've known better. Wish I never met her. True to the letter, I'll never forget her. Waiting, anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live stream Saturday. And I hope you guys have had a good week, a good start to the weekend as well. And things here are still quite cold. But as for things here in this room, it's actually quite warm. But starting the live stream tonight, I think pretty much everything has been working to the point where I'm thinking, again, have I forgotten to do something? Maybe the camera, I was sitting down waiting for the camera to come on, and I thought, am I even sat in the right place? But I think I am. But what I'm going to do is, I think this, oh no, I was going to say, I think this is not zoomed properly, but there you go. I don't know what just happened there, but sometimes we zoom out, sometimes we zoom in, and I don't know where it was left from whenever I last used it on the last video. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. As long as you can see me, that is fine. And I can see you guys in the live chat room. So hello to you guys in there. We have Dawn, Pauline, Anna, Guitar, Tim, Tammy. But it went through too quickly. I'll start a little bit further down. Bob's in there, Paul, Dawn again, Terry, Cindy, Corey, Kathy, Ro, Debbie, Carl, PM112, Frank, Laurie, Bob, Tammy, CW, Lucy, Pauline, Bob in there again, Cathonia, and Ro, Pamela, Vera, Julesy, Debbie. Hello, thank you for joining me, and let's get the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. And let's see how the software is feeling tonight. It feels like doing it in the correct order. So it is sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons. As I always say, they are the foundation of everything that I do and make everything that I do possible. So a massive thank you to you guys at the bottom of the screen. You know who you are. So, I mean, that's a positive sign that it's actually showing it all in the right order. Hopefully, if I remember correctly, I think I have changed everything. The likes goal and the fill jam, we're going to be aiming for 385 likes tonight. So again, another huge target. So if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be much appreciated. If we do hit the target of 385, we're going to be having a fill jam, and it is number 104. So we are moving along swiftly with those with those fill jams. I'm just thinking that is quite a lot. If we're doing a couple a week, that's hang on, that's got to be close to getting on to a year's worth of Phil Jams. 104. Hang on, if we're doing two a week, yeah, it's got to be close. Anyway, let's not do the maths on that. Let's do the maths on this, because let's get the likeometer up on screen. I shouldn't have said that, because now I'm going to have to try and figure it out. I'm going to say that we're looking for 170. It's just changed. It said 215, and 170 is the number that popped into my head as to how many more we need. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm sticking with it. So, yeah, if you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great. Right, now, getting organised. I think we've pretty much got everything up on screen that we normally have, apart from, of course, the donations tab. As I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is fantastic. Maybe leaving a thumbs up, leaving a comment, introducing yourself into that live chat room. That's great as well, so then we can get to know you, and you can get to know me and everybody in these live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday. And yeah, sometimes we see your pictures during the live streams as well. If you are a Facebook user, you can head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group. Over there, you can join in with that page. You can upload any pictures that you might have of yourself with any Wings of Pegasus merchandise, doing any modelling. You don't have to model it yourself. You can give it to an animal to model, which we have had in the past on the channel, but also you can, as we'll see a little bit later on, you can get creative with the modeling of the merchandise. And by the way, if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, such as the mug or the hoodie, which I've actually got on at the moment, as you can see, you can click on the tray underneath this video. And if you haven't got a tray underneath this video with the merch there, then there's a link in the description below. So you can click on that link. And if you're looking for the donation link for PayPal, that's in the description below as well, even though you don't have to donate. And between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal with every donation through there. And through the super chat window here on YouTube, between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube. So just so you know the splits, just in case you do donate. You don't have to, but I know some people can't resist. Right, we are, now we're at it was 260, so I was going to try and work it out quickly. That would have been, what, 125, which means we're looking for 123 more people. So, there we go. Just in case the first figure that I came up with wasn't quite correct, it went too quickly for me to be able to verify myself in my head whether it was right or not. So I can see that Orlando's already donated $2 and says, spike the likes with some thumbs up. So great idea there. If you can hit that thumbs up, that'd be great. And we are closing in on it. Actually, we're doing quite well. It's only 10 past 11 and we're already at 265. So thank you guys for leaving the thumbs up as you come into the live stream. Now, tonight we have Picture Corner, but I think it's only one picture tonight, and then we have the cover videos, of course, and that's between More Than Words and Parisian Walkways, and I can see that More Than Words has 55% of the vote so far, so click on whichever one of those you want to hear. Obviously, it's going to be my version of either of those particular songs. Right. There have been donations over on PayPal, so thank you guys for those. And I will jump into them because we do address every single donation on the channel and during the live streams, regardless of when they come through. So thank you for this, Marge, a donation at 8:48 on Wednesday morning. And it was £1.50. And oh, the message is donation and testing my PayPal. So thank you for that. And that test was successful. So thank you as well to... I'm just trying to find here. Oh, we've got Michael, who has donated £10 as well. But it said Michael's name right at the bottom of the email. And that is a straight up donation as well. So thank you for that, Michael. And then we had another donation that has come through from Raymond for £7.99. So thank you for that. And £7.99. That seems like it seems like a very specific amount. So $7.99, thank you for that, because I'm thinking that that is an album download from my website. So maybe that's come through through PayPal. And regardless, thank you, Raymond, for that £7.99. It is much appreciated. And Paul has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, congratulations, Phil. 338,000. Hooray. Let's have fun tonight and spike those likes. Oh, y'all. So thank you for that. And let me get this up on screen, get everybody cheering. So yes, we have hit 338,000 subscribers, which, when I say it, is ridiculous. Is a very large number indeed. But it's great, so we'll keep on pushing forward, see where we end up. But thank you guys for not only joining in with the comments on the videos and joining in on these live streams, but subscribing as well. And in order to get notified for all of the videos and the live streams, make sure that you hit the notification bell. If you can even hear what I'm saying, make sure that you hit the notification bell to get notified for every video. So I thought I'd get rid of that so you can actually hear what I was saying. So yeah, it's great, and we'll just see where we end up with everything. Now, I know that some people will probably ask me about my hair and, you know, what's happening and all that kind of stuff. It's a very good question. So I have a haircut next week. So if you see me going like this, I'm trying to get the hair out of my eyes. But the good thing is, I don't know how it's happened, but my fringe is really long, but it's curling up at both sides. So it means that I can actually see. And it's I don't know, like Russian roulette with my hair, because it could be an absolute nightmare, but I've just dodged a bullet tonight, and I'm going to have to dodge another bullet on Tuesday. Did I say I was having a haircut on Tuesday? No, on Tuesday, I'm hopefully getting my car charger fixed, and that hasn't been working since the end of December, so I haven't been able to charge my car, hence haven't been able to go anywhere. So I'm getting that fixed on Tuesday, hopefully, because on Wednesday I have a haircut booked. So I need the car to charge so that I can drive to get my haircut. So there you go. A lot of things have to fall in line, fall in place. But at the moment, I mean, tonight we are getting away with it, which is fine. I can see the camera, I can see your usernames. And yeah, that's one bullet dodged, and we'll see how we get on with Tuesday's bullet that we have to dodge as well, and then hopefully after Wednesday it'll be fine unless the haircut makes things worse. We will see. Anyway, thank you for that, Paul. And we've had another donation of £5 from Amy, so thank you for that, Amy, and that is a straight up donation. And Tammy has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. The message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 338,000 subscribers. If you were asked to play on a tour in a band that just made it big, would you keep on rocking? Oh, like, would you, ? And then keep on rocking as a sign off to the message. So thank you for that, Tammy. And I think I've been asked this in a similar way before. Somebody said, oh, if there was a band who you were a fan of, if they were touring, would you play with them on tour? And I'm going to answer that the same way that I'm going to answer this question, is that I don't really have a desire to go out touring at the moment. And I think it's very much something that you think about when you're younger, you know, when you're kind of in your 20s or maybe even in your 30s. But after that, and I've done a lot of gigging, so I know that even if you're on tour, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as Rocky would say. I know that it is quite difficult, and you know, especially singing kind of day in, day out, you have to be really strict, and yeah, it's certainly something that puts a demand on you. And I'd very much more be into just doing select dates here and there rather than going in for a full tour, because that's something that generally you do when you're younger, like earlier on in your career, like even, you know, teenagers or in your 20s, that kind of time, because you haven't had almost a lifetime's worth of gigging already. You know, it's all new to you. So you've got the energy to get out there and to, not that if you're doing a tour that's organised by a major label, for example, you're not lifting your gear everywhere, but imagine being in a band and maybe having to lift your gear around from gig to gig for 10 to 15 years. And then after all of that, say, oh, right, guys, so now should we go on tour? Yeah, everyone will say, well, what? We've just done 10 or 15 years of lifting stuff and playing really badly organised gigs. So, no, I think we'll have a little bit of a rest from that. But like I said, and I have said that if there's something in the future that comes up that is, I know is going to be well organised and that it's possible for me to pick and choose something, then I'm never going to kind of avoid or kind of shy away from a good gig, something that I think would make good music and would be well organised and would be good for people to come and watch, and just to make music and have some fun. Whereas I mean going on tour, certainly, I mean, even with bands who were very popular when they were younger and might have toured in their teens or 20s, if they're still going now, like Winger, for example, a good example, Kip Winger and Reb, kind of touring now and again, and it's sometimes it'll be once every few years that they'll go and do a tour. So this is what I mean about going out on tour, and even then being quite select with the gigs that are being played, not doing night after night after night after night after night, just having more of a relaxed approach to it. I think that's what I would do. So in terms of playing for a band that have just made it big, it's going to be just way too many dates. And the thing is, like, I would rather be doing what I'm doing and selling my own music than playing for somebody else and selling their music for them. That's the reason that I've done my own album, and the song at the beginning, Unwanted Stranger, you can get that on my album. That's at wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to go straight to the music. But you can download that, and I'd much rather be sending out my CDs, selling my music, than going out and doing it for other people. Because, for other people who are playing, it's their songs, it's them getting their name out there. And I think I probably said that in the answer to the other question about going on tour for another band. It's like, well, they're selling their music and I'm selling my music, so if I go away, that's now detrimental to my career, because I'm not here to send my music off anymore. If somebody orders a signed CD, because I'm independent, I do everything myself, I sign it and I send it off. So if I go somewhere else and start playing for another band, my career as me ends and I disappear, and I don't do YouTube anymore, I don't sell any more of my music, if somebody orders a CD, I can't send it off until I come back from the tour for the other band. So I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. So thank you for that, Tammy. And Elaine has donated £37.54, so thank you for that, Elaine. And the message is a little seed money for the 2024 tip jar from Elaine and Jim Pahamovich. So thank you for that, and I hope that I'm saying that correctly. So thank you for that, Elaine and Jim. I don't think I've attempted your surname before, so apologies if I've said that incorrectly, but I gave it a go. Thank you, Kathleen, as well, who has donated £20. And there's a message with this. The message is, hi Phil, what are some of your favourite bands that are currently active, and what do you find yourself listening to the most when you're not watching Skinwalker Ranch or Judge Judy? Thanks, Kathy. Thank you for that. And in terms of, technically, Winger, even though they're not on tour all the time, they're technically still active, so I'll go for Winger. Just quickly to answer the second part of the question, when I'm not watching Skinwalker Ranch or Judge Judy, I'm pretty much doing stuff that I'm doing all the time anyway, so I'm constantly listening and watching videos on YouTube because I've got a hell of a long request list and I work my way through that. And when I watch a particular video that's been requested, and this is something that I do get asked occasionally from people. They say, oh, can you tell me what you're using to get the things on screen for your videos? And unfortunately, then I reply with almost a book, because it's quite a long process. I at least tell them about what I do, that from watching a video on YouTube. So this is what I'll do generally. If somebody will request something, I'll watch the video. I'll then generally watch the video first to make sure that then when I do the screen capture of the video with the audio, to make sure that the audio is with the video, I screen capture the relevant part, because sometimes it can be a 15-minute video and somebody requests a particular song in a performance of that 15-minute video. So I have to work my way to the right part of the video. Then I screen capture the video. So it means that if the video is 4 or 5 minutes in length, I watch it once through, so that's like 4 or 5 minutes. I then do a screen capture, so that's another 4 or 5 minutes. Once I have the screen capture, I then have to isolate the vocals, which means taking the video, uploading it to moises.ai and going through the process of saying that I just want the vocals, instrumentation, and that's then got to be uploaded, and it goes through its processing of separating the vocal from the instrumentation. Once that's done, I kind of double check it to make sure that it all has done the job that it's supposed to. Then I'm realizing this is probably going to take the whole live stream to explain, but I'll try and keep it brief. So then I take the vocal audio and the instrumental audio, download that from moises.ai. I then drag that into Final Cut Pro 10. Once that's in there, I drag in the video. I synchronize those two things up, but then I mute the audio from the video and the instrumentation, and now just play the isolated vocal. So the isolated vocal I play through reference speakers, and I do a screen capture of the vocal pitch monitor on my phone so that it records what I'm seeing on my phone. And that's, I have to listen through the whole song to get the whole vocal. So that's another 5 minutes, but we're probably a lot longer than 15 minutes at this stage. So once I've done that, once the song finishes, I've now got the captured video on my phone of the audio. I now have to get the video from my phone into Dropbox, download it from Dropbox onto my computer, take it from my computer into Final Cut Pro 10. Once it's in Final Cut Pro 10, I now have to synchronize the captured video with the video and the audio from the video and the isolated vocal of that original video, making sure it's all synced up. Then I open up Mimo Live, do a screen capture of Final Cut Pro 10, and this is Mimo Live, by the way. This is what I'm using to do the live streams, but also my analysis video. So I use this software to do a screen capture of the Final Cut Pro 10, and I'm looking at Final Cut Pro 10 when I'm doing my videos, and the screen capture, I then split it up into two on the screen, as you guys know, and take that capture of the audio that I'm looking at. And that's if I'm just looking at one song. In other videos, I might have a song that we're looking at and the original that we're looking at, in which case I've gone through the process, that whole process twice, to get the original record and the isolated vocal from that, and then the live. If we are debating a live performance of whether it's mined, whether it's the original record or not, then I've done it for the live video as well. So obviously trying to explain that to somebody takes quite a long time, especially when I'm typing it out. But yeah, there isn't something that you can just do to get the things up on screen. But as I say to people, I think it's worth putting in that work so that everybody can see on screen a simplified version of all of the processes, so that it ends up that people can see somebody's voice on screen. And I think people obviously assume that, oh, what can I use to see the vocal of somebody's on screen? But yeah, it's quite a long process, but this is why the videos do take me quite a long time. Each time I do a video, between 6 and 12 hours, depending on the gremlins. If they start getting involved, then it can turn into 12 hours. I think the longest is maybe 16 hours that a video is taken because of so many technical problems going on. But I think it is worth it to do it. And I know that people do appreciate being able to see a voice, and also then being able to work on their own voice, knowing what's happening with great singers' voices and the techniques that we can literally see the line executing on screen for us. So yes, that takes quite a long time. But getting back to the actual question, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I don't really have a lot of time to watch anything on TV. But in terms of bands, again, it's all related to what I'm doing on the channel. So with the channel, I'm looking at videos and anything that comes up. Like, say, for example, recently we had a band called London Grammar who did their song called Hey Now. And it was a totally live performance. And this is what I do like finding out about on the channel when there is a more recent live performance and it isn't pitch corrected and it isn't auto-tuned. And as you guys know, I mention if it is or isn't on the channel. And if it isn't, I don't really have to mention anything about pitch correction or auto-tune because we're just looking and analysing a voice that we can see, or just analysing the band. We might be getting into the guitar. It might be a more guitar-related video. But anyway, so that's a band that I thought, well, it's great to hear some originality because they did have originality, but also just a live vocal. So yeah, that was one of the more recent ones. Obviously, Taj, you guys know Taj Farron, but Taj I keep in touch with and watch his videos generally on Instagram. More than, and not that I upload to Instagram a lot, but I do get a lot of messages on Instagram, so I am kind of over there most of the time. And there are too many messages over there for me to keep up with. So yeah, if you're trying to contact me and you're doing it through Instagram and I haven't replied, it's just because, yeah, there are just too many, unfortunately, because I mostly focus on just getting through the emails from my website and yeah, just checking the comment section for requests in the videos as well. So yeah, there's Taj, and obviously I've got to throw into the mix The Warning as well. As you guys know, they're friends of the channel, and yeah, they invited me to go and check them out when they're here in the UK. So yeah, that was great as well. So yeah, there's a couple of bands, and in terms of just keeping tabs on bands and artists, I think just from Instagram, because Steve Stevens, for example, he stays in touch on Instagram, so I see a lot of his posts, so I'm kind of always in the loop there. And yeah, I keep in touch as well with Buck Dharma from Blue Oyster Cult, so I catch some of their performances now and again. But pretty much, because I'm on the go all the time, anything new that I'm seeing or listening to is pretty much going to be channel related and future analysis videos related, and that goes for the Cars, for example. And generally, I'm saying that because that was the last analysis video. Generally, if there's a particular song that I am going to be analysing, I then get it stuck in my head for until the next analysis video. It just seems to be something that I'm walking around humming, or kind of I've got it in my head all the time. And that's the thing about certainly Benjamin's voice, Benjamin Orr's voice that we were analysing, with his vocal, because it was so unique in that particular analysis, it kind of stuck in my head. So then you start singing the song but in that particular style, which went and he kind of does this thing with his voice that it's really interesting. But not only do you start singing the song back in your head, you start singing it in your head in the style of Benjamin Orr. But anyway, thank you for that, Kathy. I know that I'm talking for ages on one particular question, but thank you. I am going to move on to another donation that we've had from Debbie for £10. So thank you for that, Debbie. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on 338,000 subscribers. Do you think some artists are just born with a natural talent for music? You're amazing. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And I don't know, this is always something that is debated and people agree or disagree, and some people think that some people just have a gift and they're just naturally amazing at something, but nobody has ever been naturally amazing at something without practicing it first, and that goes for everything ever. So yeah, in terms of saying whether it's nature or nurture, I think that's the main thing that is referred to. I would say myself that I believe some people have a natural propensity for things, whatever those things are. So that goes for any walk of life. So I think it's to do with the brain and how it processes information. Some people process certain kinds of information really well and really quickly, and some people don't. So if you start doing something that your brain can process more quickly than other people, then it is seen as having a natural talent for it. But whether that's, I don't know how you describe talent, whether it's talent is a natural propensity for deciphering information and complex information about a particular task, then yeah, maybe that's what talent is. But I have obviously learned to sing as well and learned to play the guitar. So I would say that for me, it's just practice, because I know that I couldn't do it before, but then I learned to do it. And I know how much I had to do to learn to do it. So I've gone from nothing to then being able to do it, and now doing it professionally. So I've been on that journey. So it's not as if I have just had a natural talent for something and I can just do this. And, you know, everyone has had to practice, especially when you're talking about playing guitar, because something that often happens, and I notice this with a lot of very technical, and I know myself as a guitarist, but I know from other very technically adept players that they forget how much they've practiced. And I forget, like me trying to think of going back to when I couldn't play chords and I couldn't move from one chord to the next. I can't really remember that very clearly. I know that it must have happened because I know that I couldn't play the guitar, but you forget about all of the hours that you've put in, 3 or 4 hours a day. When you get to like my age now and the amount of years that I've been playing, you forget about how long the journey has been, because we're only ever conscious for this split second. At any point in our lives, this is the time we remember, that we have conscious thought and memory of. So everything in the past you forget. But if you were to add up the hours and you said to somebody, right, so in order to play the guitar to this level, you have practiced this amount of hours, I think people will go, that is quite a lot of hours. I mean, even if you're just thinking about 3 hours a day, if you add that up for 5 or 10 years, that's a lot of hours. So when you then get to the end point of that, of the 5 or 10 years of 3 hours a day, and then somebody says, oh, you've got such a talent. I almost feel like saying, well, you will have this talent if you do this for this amount of hours for the next 5 years, or every day for the next 5 or 10 years. And I feel the same about singing. Now, some people very kindly say to me, oh, you're so lucky to be able to have that voice, or to have the voice that I have. But I know that I didn't have the voice that I have, that it's just practice. So for other people, again, if you add up the amount of hours that I've spent practicing singing, going from not being able to sing to then being able to sing, or at least being perceived as being able to sing, then again, it's just the hours, just doing that, just an hour a day for, I know that for at least a year, I did it quite religiously for an hour a day, and I literally set the timer because I wanted to make sure that I practiced in the same way that I did for the guitar, because I knew that worked. So if I do the same with trying to sing, then that's got to work as well, because I've now got the process. I know it's literally a case of just time, just keep on doing it. So then, yeah, that's what I applied to then learning to sing. And yeah, I think, again, I don't see singing myself as being a talent that I know it's not a talent that I've always had. I wasn't born with a gift or anything for it. Now, whether you can say that the amount of hours and years I spent playing guitar and hearing pitch, whether that helped me to sing, I think there's an argument for that I was just so divulged in sound and notes that I knew what the notes sounded like. So when I recorded myself singing, I could hear that, oh, I'm not hitting the notes, that I know the notes should sound more like this than the sound that I'm making. So I had a reference point. So yeah, I think that tuned my ear all of that time playing the guitar, so it made learning to sing a little bit easier. But I still think, yeah, it's a learned skill. Whether learning to play the guitar then gave me more of a natural propensity, but then you'd say that that's a learned propensity to sing, then that's another thing. So yeah, I think it's definitely not cut and dry. Nobody's ever got amazing at something by not practicing, and then suddenly the first time they ever do it is when they're on stage in front of thousands of people and they go, right, I'm just going to give this a go. I've never done this before, but let's see if I can melt your faces with a solo that I've never... What is this instrument? Oh, it's called a guitar. I'll try... What notes are there? I don't even know notes. I've never heard of them. I'm just doing this for the first time. Nobody's ever been able to do that. And we all know it because every guitarist starts in the same place, and nobody's ever been able to just... shred out a solo with no practice. So anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. And we've had another donation that's come through from Tracy. So thank you for this. And it's £10. Thank you, Tracy. The message is, Phil, did your vocal coach ever tell you you have perfect pitch or relative pitch? Rock. So thank you for that, Tracy. And yeah, I've never had a vocal coach, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. The only thing that I can say is that when I was very young, my dad said that I was tone deaf. So I've gone from that to then learning to play the guitar, then learning to sing, to where I am now, doing analysis videos on vocals and being able to hear. This is something that I can do. I can hear 440 hertz. And I mean, I don't know whether that's a blessing or a curse sometimes, but it means that I know when a voice isn't a human voice, like when it's been manipulated. So that is something that I can hear. And I know that that is a rare thing to be able to hear because there are other channels. And I know that there are other channels who might be vocal coaches who can't hear 440 hertz. So they sometimes say about a singer, oh, wow, that's amazing. Their pitch is so accurate throughout the whole performance. And the reason it is so accurate is because it's 440 hertz. It's been pitch corrected to the lines, to the notes of a keyboard. So, yeah, that is something that I can hear, whether that's, again, a gift or something that I've just got a natural propensity for. I think it's probably to do with playing the guitar for so long and tuning to 440 hertz. But then there might be something with my ear that is particularly sensitive, that when it hits that frequency, it just resonates differently and it just feels a little bit weird. And again, that's just a feeling that I have when I hear it. So I'm sure a lot of people don't get that particular feeling. So yeah, in terms of having perfect pitch, relative pitch, I don't think I have perfect pitch. But even though I know that in particular videos, when I've just been explaining things, I have said what a note is after hearing it. But yeah, I think because I'm not thinking at the time, I say that. I think if I was to think about it, I would then probably overthink it and not know what it is. But I think I certainly have a relative pitch. I can hear notes in relation to each other, and I know tuning guitars pretty much my whole life, that I know where the note should be. So if I hear, say, something that's a tone above E, for example, I know it's an F sharp. So, but I don't know whether that's, true in terms of, I know some people will say, oh, well, therefore you can hear notes and you have perfect pitch. But yet perfect pitch is being able to hear a note and then say what it is. But then again, hearing the note, if I know what an E is, and say, for example, it's a tone under an E, I would know that. So I'd say that it's a D. But it doesn't mean that I've got perfect pitch. It means that I know that it's a tone underneath an E, so therefore it must be a D. So maybe it's a different way of working out, which is probably more relative pitch. But anyway, thank you, Tracy, for suggesting that I even had a vocal coach, because I didn't. So it is great that you might think my voice has been coached. It's only been coached by myself. But I have watched lots of YouTube videos, and yeah, I've been singing for a very long time now, and I've done lots of courses on it, none of which I found really helped me. in any particular way other than me figuring it out. And that's something that, again, is totally unique and generally tends to be the way with people, especially when you're talking about the voice. It's so unique to each singer or each person. It's just figuring out your own voice as best you can. So that's just kind of what I try to do. But thank you for that. And Janice has donated £75 as well. So thank you for that, Janice. And the message is, you sure? Oh, you know for sure the subscriber count is rising when more trolls come out of their caves. So thank you for that, Janice. And I haven't really been looking over towards the chat room too much, so I haven't seen anything going on in there. And yeah, this is the problem, and the whole Telegram scam things. By the way, we've had lots of different things go off on the YouTube channel, and it tends to be about Telegram. And when I say lots of different things, lots of different channel names that are being made up to pretend to be me. I don't use Telegram, by the way. And again, I had another email recently, somebody asking me about Telegram, that I asked them to message me or for me to message them. So I don't use Telegram. So if there is a message like that on YouTube, just ignore it. So that is the unfortunate thing about, having lots of subscribers and having a popular channel, is that you do get trolls that, not only trolls but scams as well. People trying to come in and scam people, or scam bots, all that kind of stuff. But I do try to remove them as soon as possible. So yes, it's a bit of a shame, but I think it's just the collateral damage of being more popular and getting more subscribers and all that kind of stuff. But as I said, we'll keep on pushing forward, and I think hopefully most people know about the whole Telegram thing. Because I try and remove them as quickly as possible, it means that the new subscribers hopefully aren't that likely to see that scam. So hopefully, I mean, those are the only people that will get taken in by it. So hopefully, if I can remove them quickly enough, then most subscribers don't see it and get taken in by that. So yeah, anyway, thank you for that, Janice. And we've then had a donation from Lisa for £20 as well. Thank you for that, Lisa. And that is a straight up donation, so thank you for that. And John has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, John. And the message is, Happy New Year, Phil. So thank you, John. Happy New Year to you as well. Even though we are now, I think, getting into, I don't know, too far into January now to say Happy New Year. I don't know. Well, it's only the 13th. I'm just looking at the date. It seems like I lose track of the dates where we are. 13th is fine. I think we're still very much in the new year in January. First half of January, so that's fine. Thank you for that, John. Happy New Year to everybody as well. But of course, you guys know we were live streaming on New Year's Eve. So we all had a good, I don't know, knees up isn't really the way to describe it for me. I'm not drinking alcohol. That's generally what we say here in the UK when you have like a jolly knees up, is people like having a party, drinking alcohol, all that kind of stuff. But it was just a party like we do have on New Year's Eve on the channel, as we always see in the new year. So thank you for joining me if you did back then. I'm sure most of you are still in that live chat room. Right, I can see there have been donations over in that super chat window, so thank you guys for these. David has donated $5. Thank you for that, David. The message is, the Phil Jam sessions are just fabulous. Thanks for the gift of music. So thank you for the kind words, David, and for that donation. Ginger has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Ginger. And the message is, love your channel, Phil. Thank you for sharing your love for music and your expertise with us. So yeah, and thank you for that donation, Ginger, and no problem. Thank you for watching. Lisa has donated $2. Thank you for that, Lisa. And the message is, did I see you like golf? So yes, you probably did see at some point that I said I like golf. I like to play golf when I can play golf, not that I can play golf. Well, I try to play golf and I did go through probably, I don't know, the course of a year playing golf. And then I was playing golf And then I was going home and working out. What I didn't know is that I had damaged a tendon in my arm. And this is now 2021, believe it or not. So that's when I had my problem with my arm to begin with. I'm thinking, wow, that was ages ago. So yeah, at the end of 2021, I had a problem with my arm with a tendon. But the problem that I was exacerbating was the working out afterwards. And that's what exacerbated the injury. So yeah, now my arm isn't fully recovered yet. It's getting quite close, I think. So I'm at the point where I'm umming and ahhing whether to maybe do some light resistance training on my arm or not, because it's been so long without doing anything. And I've just been doing the physio exercises to kind of build up the strength again. But over the course of the last probably 6 months, I think it's now more of a nerve issue rather than the tendon. I think the tendon is fine with some of the times over Christmas, for example, where something would happen and, it might be one of my nephews jumping on me or something. And it's just like an instinctive reaction to either catch them or stop them from falling over. So, you kind of put your arms out and take a bit of their weight. And that's something that after that had happened, I thought, oh, that's something that I would never have been able to do with my arm as it was before, because I would have felt exactly kind of where the tendon is. It would have given me a bit of grief. So, yeah, I think it's now more just a bit of a trapped nerve that happens now and again. But taking that plunge into then doing a bit of light resistance training, and that's something I haven't done yet, but I am tempted to maybe start doing that, because I think as soon as I start doing that, if that's then okay, just some really light resistance stuff, then I might be able to get back into maybe practicing golf or playing golf or trying to do something golf wise. But yeah, I do enjoy playing it. Obviously having the time to do it is another thing, but I do find that it relaxes me, and I think it was good to have a little bit of time away from doing what I normally do just to relax. The only thing is that I would have to change how I was playing before, my technique, in order to take any strain off that particular tendon. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how I then now come round to play, because I don't want to go through that whole thing again. I just want to get back to being normal. And yeah, I know, for example, over the last kind of 6 months, certainly if I've done any excessive practice on the guitar, or if I've been kind of doing lots of tapping, then the next day I'd start to feel it a little bit. But I think it's more of a nerve thing now, and it must be kind of, third finger, second finger, first finger, when I'm kind of tapping with those fingers, kind of doing lots of fingers tapping on the right hand. Yeah, any time that I spent a long time doing that, then the next day I'd feel it a little bit. But I think it's a nerve thing. So I am umming and ahhing at the moment. But anyway, thank you for that, Lisa. Simon's donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Simon. The message is, I think it was a golfer who, when asked how/why he won so much, explained it by saying it was luck, and that the more he practiced, the luckier he was. So thank you for that, Simon. And yeah, that's exactly the case. I think pretty much anyone who's reached the top of their game in any walk of life will say it's just because of practice, that they've practiced. And generally, the people that are the best are the ones who've practiced the most. So yeah, there you go. It's also a massive misconception from people who maybe aren't professional athletes, aren't professional musicians. They greatly underestimate how much practice it takes. They might say, oh, well, I played guitar for, a few hours a week for a year, and I'm nowhere near as good as that person. So they've just got a talent for it. And they probably practiced for multiple hours a day for multiple years. So when people think that they've practiced a lot, when you're talking about, dedicating your life to something, it is literally your life that's being dedicated to that skill. So, some kids that start playing very young, they come home from school, they start playing guitar, and they do that all night, go to bed, get up in the morning, go to school, play during their lunch break. That's what I used to do. And then come home, play again. And then at the weekend, they'd play all weekend. And then in the summer holidays, they'd be playing for 8 weeks, like every day for multiple hours. So yeah, that starts to add up year on year. And again, it's a great misconception I think that people have. So anyway, thank you for this donation, Stephen, as well, who has donated $10. So thank you for that. And the message is, thanks for the Ben or the cars analysis. I requested it a few weeks ago. So yes, thank you for that, Stephen. And this is, I mean, just something that happens sometimes with, I know that we've looked at Rick in the past on the channel, and I think that's probably tied in with his passing and a lot of requests for that particular video. But yeah, with, I mean, the cars analysis and that particular performance, I know that it was one that had been requested before, but maybe not the remastered version, because that was kind of, yeah, a remastered release. And I know that that performance had been requested before. So it sometimes happens that I'm doing two people's requests in one video. So I think it might have been that particular request, because that was the Midnight Special, the show that we were looking at on the last analysis video. So yeah, it sometimes overlaps. So there we have it. Thank you for that, Stephen. And Brianna has donated $5 as well, so thank you for that, Brianna. And by the way, Stephen's donation was the first in that super chat window, so thank you for that, Stephen. And because it has the big 1 next to it. So yeah, Brianna donated $5 and said, missed you, Phil, and all the wingers. I'm still kicking. So thank you for that, Brianna, and for the donation as well. Good to see you back and kicking. Right. Oh, it's 7 minutes to midnight here, so I'm going to have to keep on top of things. I can see that we have 436 likes. So we have smashed the likes goal for tonight. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. You can keep on doing that. If you haven't done it already, it really does help the channel to grow and for these live streams to get out there a little bit more. Of course, you guys in the catch-up crew, if you're watching this in the future, then yeah, you can still hit that thumbs up. It really does help. I can see that some people say in the chat room about being obsessive, and I mean, in relation to practicing, it is a part of people, I think, that are not obsessive compulsive, but they are obsessive about doing something, or just have that in them as a person. For example, I've got something in me that will not give up at something. So, I mean, this is a good example, yeah, because I'm still doing this, and even if things hadn't have taken off, I would probably still be trying to make things take off however I could. But just silly things, and I noticed this about myself. I don't know what this I don't think this is obsessive compulsive, but I had like a piece of tissue, and I decided that I had to throw it in the bin by throwing it under my leg, but I missed the bin. So then I picked it up again and I had to do it, and I would not leave the kitchen until I had got the bit of paper in the bin by throwing it under my leg. And I don't know what it is about my brain that says, well, you can't go and do anything else until you've ticked this box. So there you go. There's an insight into my life. And it's not that I'm doing this all day, because I haven't got time to do it, but just these silly things that if I try and do something, and it was just like a thought that, oh, I'll throw this in the bin under my leg, and it misses, it just kind of means everything's now not in sync. So I have to do that, to go back to being in sync. And that's definitely something that I had with the guitar. If I couldn't do something, I had to do it until I stopped practicing. And I only had to do it once, but I just had to do it. And yeah, that's just part of my personality. That it's a bit weird, but I think this is something that you get with lots of people. If they have practiced something for a long time, there's something about them that you can't just leave it and say, oh, well, that'll do. You've got to do it. And you've got to do it to the best of your ability. You've got to just make it as good as you can make it. And even with another example, something recently, I've been helping my dad doing things, on his computer, and sometimes he gets problems with Logic, and then he asked me in Logic Pro 10, the DAW, digital audio workstation, where you can't figure out something that's going on. So anyway, there was a problem that he had, and we solved the problem, but there was another problem that he had, which was now totally irrelevant to the problem that he had that we've solved. But I couldn't rest until I'd figured out the other problem that I now didn't need to figure out anymore, because we've solved the main problem that he had, but it's just this other problem that was on the side. And this is, yeah, something, I don't know, intrinsically within me, which is what intrinsically means, that I couldn't leave. I had to find the answer to that, even though I don't need to know the answer to it. I wanted to know the answer to this problem, to this particular gremlin, as to why that didn't work when we tried it, even though now it's irrelevant. And yeah, over the next 3 weeks, I figured out why, or the solution to that problem. Obviously, the solution was irrelevant, but for me, I had that in my head that I had to figure it out before I can then kind of move on to stuff. So yeah, it is a little bit weird, but yeah, I don't think it's an OCD thing, because that's something that I would have to do things all the time. Like, I've seen like proper obsessive compulsive disorder where people have to touch like a door handle 10 times before then leaving the room and that kind of stuff. I don't have that. I don't feel like I've got to do those kinds of things. This is just something that will, kind of detract my brain for, maybe a minute or two, however long it takes me to throw a bit of tissue into a bin underneath my leg. So there we go. I can see Rose says, what was the solution? So the solution was getting MIDI mapping from the electric drum kit into the problem is that nowadays everything's updating. So when you're talking about a Mac operating system, that's being updated, which means that the current drivers for the software don't work. So we went through loads of problems with that, but eventually it was just a case of, rather than going through MIDI, finding the right USB cable, which actually I did have 2 or 3 of them that were spare. But then I thought, hang on, I know exactly what that USB cable is, because I used to use it with my Line 6 pod. Really old, like a kidney-shaped guitar effects thing, probably 20 years ago. But I thought, I've got that lead, and I know that I've got a few of those leads because I had a Pod XT Live as well. So I had that. We tried that then with an extension into kind of bypassing MIDI, getting into the computer, and that then registered as a separate USB triggered device. So it's like you're now turning the drum kit into a keyboard. That's how we had to do it, rather than doing traditional MIDI, which didn't work with the updates with the Mac OS. So anyway, that's how I solved that problem, so that the drums could be triggered through USB, because the MIDI now wasn't working with the updated system, because that's how we used to trigger the drums before. But anyway, I kind of got round that. But of course, my dad said, well, it's not an emergency. I don't need to, do any drumming. It's not like he's got an album release that record label's pushing him for. So it's just a problem that he wanted to figure out. But then he said, don't worry about it, as long as you can get this working, then I'll be fine. But then I thought, but I want to figure out how to do that other thing as well. Anyway, we will be jumping into I could see, yes, we are running out of time. We will be jumping into tonight's cover video. I can see that it's more than words, so we'll jump into that now. Then we'll get into Picture Corner. Then we'll have the Fill Jam, and hopefully we will finish on time. So I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! Hi guys, this is my first proper video of 2017, and it's my cover of More Than Words by Extreme. And I hope you like it. Rock!
Saying I love you, it's not the words I wanna hear from you. It's not that I want you not to say, but if you only knew how easy it would be to show me how you more than words is all you have to do to make it real. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, 'cause I'd already know. to talk to you and make you understand. All you have to do is close your eyes and just reach out your hands and touch me. Hold me close, don't ever let me go. More than words is all I ever needed you to show. Then you wouldn't have to say that you love me, 'cause I'd already know. What would you do if my heart was torn in two? More than words to show you feel that your love for me is real. What would you say if I took those words away? Then you could make things new just by saying I love you.
And there we have it. That was my version of the extreme classic, More Than Words. Thank you guys for voting for that tonight, and you guys over on Patreon for requesting it in the first place, as well as Parisian Walkways, which has lost out again tonight. I think that's been on the last few live streams being requested, so maybe it will win out on a future live stream. Who knows? Right, let's get into Picture Corner, because we have a picture, I think just a picture, yeah, rather than lots of pictures to take a look at tonight. So let me grab this, and this is, I mean, a bit of a Christmas theme we've got going on, so maybe a few weeks late, but thank you for sending this one in, Cindy. And let me read out the comment as well. The comment was, here we see a Wings of Pegasus supporter who is comprised of 98% water. No one said the water had to be in a liquid state. Like most Wings of Pegasus supporters, he is also an animal lover. So thank you for that, and Laura for linking me to this picture as well. And I know that you English literature people, or English literature boffins, will know that technically you can't have comprised of. It's either composed of, or consists of, or comprises. So yeah, because the definition of comprised or comprises is consists of, or is composed of. So of is part of the definition. So if you say comprised of, it means you're saying consists of. So you're putting in two ofs rather than one of. But anyway, as you guys know on previous live streams, some of these things, and this is something actually that my dad points out all the time about comprised and comprises. So I know the definition very well just from my upbringing. But anyway, that's just for you people out there that I know are very sensitive to things like that. We've had this on the live stream before with different definitions of things, with, I was going to say English and American English, and the way that things are slightly different. So yeah, but to be fair, I think actually comprised of is something I've heard in this country as well. I've heard lots of people saying it. So it's one of those things that has snowballed, pun intended, with the previous picture. But yeah, it's snowballed, and everyone doesn't realise that the definition includes the word of. So you don't need to put of again after. Anyway, enough about that. And thank you, by the way, again for that picture, Cindy, for uploading it. And if you guys want to upload any pictures, head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. You can join that group, and then Laura will link me to any pictures that are uploaded there. But by the way, the snowman had, I tell you what, I can get this back up on screen. The snowman had a Wings of Pegasus bucket hat on. I didn't even mention that up in this place. And hiding in the corner here, we have a bird. It's a bit small for me to make out exactly what kind of bird it is, but we've got the rock horns going on as well. So yeah, there we have a little bit more detail on the picture from Cindy. So thank you for that, because there's a lot of work that's gone into this particular snowman, and what a snowman it is. So thank you for that again. Right, let's get into the Phil Jam for tonight, and I'm going to have to keep myself organized as to see how long. Ooh. Okay, I can see that this, I'm just going to refresh this because that was a bad idea. Okay, we're back. Right, so Joe has indeed messaged me again saying bump for number 104 gem. We're going to do it with the gem's not plugged in, so we usually get lucky with the guitars which one's plugged in, but so this might be it might be a heavy one, might be not be a heavy one. Which number is it? 104. It's 9 minutes 25. That's what I thought. It's going to be a long one. So I'm going to click on this because it's a long one. I'll let it play through. I'm just going to wait for this advert to finish. Yeah, as for the mix with my guitar and everything, it's always a little bit random. You can let me know in the comments section as to how loud it is. We're not going with the gem. We're going with the Strat. We're going with maybe, I'll click on that, maybe a clean sound. This is Neo Soul, backing track in D minor. Have we had Neo Soul before? We might have had Neo Soul before, I can't remember. But this is from Sebastian Zunino on YouTube. So you guys can check this out if you want to have your own jam along to it. And I'm just going to let it play. Oh. Like it's really loud on my side. So can you guys hear this? Barbara says, zoom out please. Zoomed out. Oh, microphone. Thank you. I don't know if Joe said to turn on the mic. Sometimes he doesn't. Maybe I didn't read it. Anyway. Is this okay? Could you louder, turn up the guitar? Can't hear. But then lots of people now started saying, better now. You need to be a little bit louder, even better. Okay now. We're just going to go for this. See what happens. We had a little bit of wah-wah there, I heard. little bit of a change. I'm not sure whether to go heavy or not, because I think it's going to be too heavy. Okay, we might just go a little bit heavy and maybe take a bit of volume off. See what happens. And that wasn't the backing track, that's an advert. So that was a sudden ending. Probably the most sudden ending we've ever had to a backing track. So there we go, Neo Soul backing track in D minor from Sebastian Zunino, and that's Sebastian, E-N at the end. Sebastien. So thank you guys for that. As for, I don't know whether the more distorted thing worked. I did roll off a bit of volume to try and make it less offensive, but yeah, that was that. And that was what, 9 minutes? It seemed to go quickly for me, but then again, maybe it was very long for people listening. So there we have it. That was tonight's Phil Jam. Hopefully we got away with the Strat, even though the other guitar was... I think it wasn't that heavy of a backing track, so it was one of those that probably fell in between the two guitars. So yeah, we kind of got away with it, and the Strat's quite versatile anyway. So Anyway, there has been another donation. This is Orlando in the Super Chat window who donated $2. So thank you for that. And the message is, I sensed a slight wah-wah effect with that jam. So yeah, there's a bit of wah-wah on the backing track. So I got a bit of it going. And thank you, by the way, guys, for telling me that I haven't turned the mic on. Yeah, that could have been a long 9 minutes if you hadn't have told me that. Just pretending, well, I would actually be playing, but it would look like I'm kind of pretending to play the backing track or something. So, yes, thank you for that. And there has been another donation on PayPal. So let me just get into that one. Oh, it's Vera who has donated £15 and 2 pence. So thank you for that, Vera. And the message is, Phil, this is for singing more than words for us. So thank you for that. And for you guys voting, you guys over on Patreon as well, giving me suggestions for videos to play on the live streams. So, right, we are going to be back with another video tomorrow night, so look out for that one. We're going to be live streaming Tuesday night, as always, 11 PM Greenwich Mean Time, so if you can make it then. That would be great, because that's where I will be. And I can see that we've got 502 likes, so thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. It is massively appreciated. And, I mean, that would mean we'll be having a full jam every single live stream without fail, hitting those kinds of numbers. But thank you guys for tuning in. It is much appreciated. And yeah, we are up to date with everything. Thank you guys for the donations, of course. And I do say that you don't have to, but they are very much appreciated. So yeah, thank you to everybody who donated, but just everybody who tuned in and hit the thumbs up, left a comment, maybe introduce themselves as well in the live chat room. It's been great to interact with you guys again in a live setting. As is always the case with the live streams, a little bit different to the analysis videos and just being in the comment section. So yeah, it's great to catch up with you guys on a Tuesday and a Saturday. Right, all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!